Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for day 3 of Boys Town Donor Week. It is a very exciting day for Boys Town in our community as it is our founder, Father Flanagan's birthday. So we are super excited to be live today celebrating our donors with a very special guest. Joe, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Gabby. How are you?
Great. Well, it's wonderful to have you. I know you have quite the history with Boys Town, so we look forward to getting to know you better and celebrating Donor Week with you today. So, for those of you watching live, in celebration of this wonderful day and week, we are doing several giveaways. So, please comment below and let us know why you support Boys Town for a chance to win some Boys Town swag. And make sure you like this video while you're at it. So, we'll go right into these questions with you, Joe. If you want to start by please telling us more about you, tell us about your job, your family, where you're from, all of that good info.
Yeah, certainly. I'm an Omahan born and raised. My wife, Jamie, and I have three daughters. They're ages almost 12 and then 8 and 6. So, yeah, I've lived here my whole life. I currently work in banking and finance. And we don't live that far from Boys Town, so I get over there quite a bit to the post office or just drive through campus. So it's fun to see the campus.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people don't know we actually have a post office, so I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay. So the next question is, how did you get to know Boys Town? Other than living right by it, how were you familiar?
Certainly. So my dad was a 1963 graduate of Boys Town, and I remember from a young age to the summer conventions that were held every other year. And he had a lot of pride in Boys Town, and I would tag along with him, and he would show me his cottage that he lived in. We would play in the softball games together. We would do the Memorial Day runs. My dad had a lot of lifelong friendships with his classmates from Boys Town. They'd live out of town, and my dad and I would go visit, and they'd come to town, and we'd hang out with them. And I was just always curious to learn more about Boys Town, and it was this. Growing up, it was kind of on the west side of Omaha, and I'd see it out there every so often. And I was just curious to learn more about it, and through my dad, I was able to learn more about it.
Yeah. So did he talk a lot about his time at Boys Town as a youth?
When I was younger, I could sense his pride in Boys Town. I don't know that I knew like what questions to ask, but
Yeah.
he had a big smile every time we'd be on campus and would talk about it. I could tell his friendships were important. As I grew older and became a father myself, I kind of knew some of the better questions to ask, maybe, or just to talk about it. And so we would talk about it more, and but like I said, we would when we were on campus, we'd knock on the door, go visit his old cottage, talk to the people that lived there, and it would bring back a lot of great memories for my dad. And so, I try to relive his experiences with.
Oh, we might have froze here. Give it a second. I think you might have froze on us, Joe. All right, looks like he's going to hop off and go ahead and rejoin. So as he rejoins, I just want to remind everyone to leave a comment and let us know why you support Boys Town and what makes Boys Town special to you for a chance to win some Boys Town swag. So, okay, Joe, I see you're back. That's all right. We must have got frozen there for a second. This is what happens when you do lives, right? Sometimes the Wi-Fi goes in and out. So we appreciate everyone's patience. We'll wait and let him rejoin. All right, he should be back here soon. I know he mentioned before we hopped on that sometimes the Wi-Fi at his work is a little bit spotty, so we'll give him some grace here. Are you there, Joe? It's okay. It happens. We might have to hop off and rejoin if I'm not able to reconnect him. But like I mentioned at the beginning, please, if you are watching live or you find this video later, please feel free to comment below and let us know why you support Boys Town. And we are giving away various items of swag. So I have some prizes including some sunglasses, some calendars. We have the quote of the day calendars, which I actually have on my desk right here. So I'll go ahead and grab it and show it. These are really special because we actually give these away to our recurring donors. I have it on May. I need to flip it to July, obviously. But oh, there he is. Hey,
Sorry about
Joe.
that.
No, you're fine. I was just showing them. I'm giving away these little calendars so they can
Oh, there you go.
comment below. But it's totally okay with the Wi-Fi. I know it can be tricky. So. Okay, so as you were saying, you had visited your dad's cottage on the Boys Town campus and had shared several memories with them. And I love that your dad would share those experiences with you. And for you to carry that on even with your own daughters and take them to Boys Town's campus and Boys Town's events is super special. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, they have their own curiosity levels.
Yeah.
They loved Grandpa Bob, and just to the proximity to Boys Town, and they ask questions when we are in the car and drive through, and a couple years ago we had dinner with one of the parent families over there. Melissa Steffes had invited us over and set that up, which was really great for the girls to just see that environment. And little kids are curious and ask a lot of questions, so that's a lot of fun too. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you're carrying it through your family. And we have several donors who follow us here on Facebook who say, my grandparents donated to Boys Town and then my parents did and now I do. And I love hearing all about, the family tree of the connection. So that's wonderful. So with your father being a Boys Town alumnus, why did you feel it was important to continue his support of the organization?
well, that's an easy question for me to answer, Gabby. I there are a lot of, I guess, influences each of us has in life to get where we are. And, really, when I became a parent and I just understand that foundation and how important that family structure is, and it was always evident to me how much Boys Town meant to my dad. And he really flourished at Boys Town. And it's not a, you don't have to connect a lot of dots. I mean, we all have positive experiences in life and people who impact us, but I I just don't think I have to connect a lot of dots to think that the foundation that Boys Town laid for my father and just created some opportunities for me in my life,
Mm-hmm.
education, um, you know, just a lot of things. And it could have gone a different path, honestly, without Boys Town in my dad's life. And so, I just, Boys Town meant so much to my dad. It gave him an opportunity to be in a new environment, a new situation than he was in. And, it was really important to my dad. And I could sense that. He wasn't a big talker or anything, but I could just sense how important Boys Town was to him. And just to support the great organization and have the impact on, other boys and girls who are like my dad or in, other situations. And so, so that they can, provide that legacy on to their children and be great fathers. And it's just, yeah, it's very meaningful to me.
Yeah, well said. So we know you're also connected to our executive director, Father Bays, who we are actually interviewing again today here at 3 o'clock. So tell us more about your connection to him.
Oh yeah, when I was an accounting major at Creighton University, and one of our accounting professors was very service oriented, like the Jesuits can be, and as part of our senior year, we had to do a service project, and Father Bays at that time, I'm not sure of his title, but he was on the Indian reservation, and they needed help with some accounting projects, and three of us went up and spent a lot of time helping them get their financial house in order. Provided as much guidance and value as we could, being senior accounting majors. But that was my first meeting with Father Bays, and then, you know, 18 years later to reconnect with him over the last few years has been just a great joy, and to hear his vision for Boys Town, and yeah, just have conversations with him. It's really fun to reconnect with him.
Yeah. Wow. So your dad is a Boys Town alumnus. You met Father Bays, years and years and years ago. And even a couple years ago, you were one of our chairs for the Blue Water Bash in Okoboji. So you got your feet dipped in so many puddles here at Boys Town. You're connected in a lot of ways. I think that's great.
Yeah, we are. So we had the opportunity. My my wife is she's originally from Sioux Falls,
Oh,
and she's she kind of grew up her summers at Okoboji.
nice.
And interesting story, we were up at our cabin up there a few years ago, and I looked down, and the Blue Water Bash was occurring, but I didn't even know that Boys Town had a fundraiser up there. So
Hmm.
we came back to Omaha, and I sent Chris Nizzi an email, and I said what event was going on at Boys Town, because it looked like a lot of fun, and I wanted to be there. And so Mr. Nizzi and I went and had lunch, and he told me about it, and then somehow Melissa and I got connected, and the Blue Water Bash is just a great confluence, is the word I use, of my wife's life and her upbringing, and my desire and passion for Boys Town. And then I just, my dad would talk about his trips to Okoboji,
Yeah.
and I remember, they'd take the bus or the van up, and they'd stop and have sack lunch at Odabote, which was the old way to go. And at that time, when we were chairs, my dad had passed away a few years earlier, so he didn't know. But I can't help but think about how tickled he would have been that Jamie and I had the opportunity to serve as chairs for that wonderful event.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he was smiling down for sure. Yeah. So, for those who maybe aren't familiar, Boys Town, Nebraska does do an annual Blue Water Bash event. So, that's coming up here on July 30th, and it's in Okoboji, Iowa, which is a huge lake where Boys Town has a camp there. And so, a lot of our residential youth who maybe have never even been on a family vacation, have never been boating or tubing or anything, super fun in the summer that a lot of us take for granted. So they go up there every year with their family home program, and the Blue Water Bash supports the continued funding of this camp. So that's on July 30th. If you are local to Nebraska, Iowa, surrounding areas, we would absolutely love to have you attend. So I'll make sure to link that info in the comment section of this video if you're interested in going. And for those who aren't local, we do have some silent auction items that you can bid on too. So super fun. Oh,
Very fun.
yes. So we have a few more questions, and like I mentioned a few times already, please comment below and let us know why you support Boys Town for a chance to win some of our swag. And if you have questions for Joe, now would be the time to comment and we can get those asked. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, we have several generations who have donated to Boys Town over the years. Is that something you plan on implementing with your own daughters, raising them and encouraging that support in your family's generation?
Yeah, certainly. There's a lot of service related or support dynamics as our kids get older that we try to teach them, and it just gets back to the tie with Grandpa Bob and my dad is pretty tight. And like I said, he passed away suddenly, and it's a good way, and I think our girls are starting to understand it's a way to honor Grandpa Bob, and they like that. And when we're at Okoboji, they're very mindful and aware that's the Boys Town campus, and it elicits more questions for them, and it's really great. And I go back to a lot of what Father Flanagan, things he talked about, or common themes, was everybody has value, Circumstances might take us down a route here or route there. But people deserve a second chance, or they deserve to fulfill that value that God created us with, and our girls are really recognizing and learning that, I believe. So I'm pretty proud of that, and I'm proud of our continued support. So I envision that Boys Town will be near and dear to our family for a long time.
Yes. Gosh, you're so well spoken. Everything you say, I just want to like write it down and reuse it because you just really hammer it home the importance. So thank you.
It's a fun story to tell. It really
Yeah.
is. I still wish we had more years with my dad,
Yeah.
but just a really good way to think about him in a positive light and
Hmm.
being able to help make a difference.
Definitely. Gosh. Well, Joe, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your story and your family story and connection to Boys Town. We really appreciate it.
Of course, Gabby, thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Like I mentioned, we are going live again today at 3 o'clock p.m. Central Time with our Executive Director and President, Father Stephen Bays. And we'll also be joined by Mickey Anderson, who is from Baxter Auto, who has another great history of supporting Boys Town. So make sure you check us out here this afternoon, and we will see you then. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gabby.
Bye.